This podcast was originally live-streamed on the NonSequitur show on YouTube. New episodes air weekdays, Monday through Friday, at 8 p.m. Eastern at youtube.com/NonSequitur show. Make sure you never miss a live stream by visiting www.nonsecshow.com/schedule. For the latest news, polls and updates throughout the day, follow us on Twitter @NonSecShow or Facebook.com/NonSecShow. That's NONSEQ show. If you'd like to get exclusive content, bi-weekly private hangouts with Kyle and Steve, backstage access to chat with guests after shows hosted on your channel and much more, become a Patreon saint of NonSequitur. It ensures we continue to improve our show and brings you into the process at the same time. Visit patreon.com/NonSequitur today while the limited spots are still available.
The following podcast is intended for those who believe bold ideas are righteous, unique perspectives are gospel, and strong opinions are sacred. This is Non-Sequitur. Never follow. And now, here are your hosts, Kyle Curtis and Steve McRae.
Steve is back with us tonight, fresh off of his performance. We'll put it that way. His performance on Monday. How are you feeling there, champ?
I am feeling good. I have had my coffee. I'm invigorated. I walked 2 miles today. Yes.
Feeling spunky.
Yes, I feel good. Spunky today. I'm ready for this.
Let's say a quick hello to Mr. Terrance Popp. Mr. Popp, thank you for being here. It's a pleasure to have you.
Boom. Beer me.
Tonight's going to be fantastic. I can already tell. We were talking briefly before the show, and I think this is going to be a show to see, no doubt. Before we get into it, I've got, as always, just a couple quick announcements to let you guys know what's coming up. On Saturday, we haven't had a flat earth debate in a while, and I know that you guys have been itching for one, so we're going to satisfy that on Saturday. Dr. John Kroon, who is can't even think.
He's an astrophysicist.
Yes, astrophysicist. Sorry, I was looking at my other notes. He will be talking to The Plain Truth, who also runs a podcast called Revelation in Revelation. So that will be Saturday at 8. On that following Tuesday, David Packman will be with us. We'll be having a discussion on the death penalty and whether it should be abolished or not. And then Friday, you guys have been asking for a climate change discussion. That will take place on next Friday. That will be with Dr. Peter Ward. He'll be coming to talk about climate change and if there's anything that can be done to reverse those effects. This Thursday, we are doing another debate roulette. If you are interested in being a part, you can join the Discord and let us know. We will start at 8 p.m. and the topic will be spun. We'll let you decide if you agree with that topic or disagree, and then we will randomly choose 2 people to come in on the fly and debate that for 15 minutes. So that's going to be Thursday at 8. Also, we all know that Red's Rhetoric is in retirement for a little bit. However, he is coming out briefly to have a debate with No Concepts. So, No Concepts, we have been trying to get a hold of you. Reds is ready, and we need to know a date from you, sir. So please get in touch with me so we can set that up. I know that you guys have been waiting for a bit to go after it, and he is ready. So just let me know. Okay, now I'm going to turn it over to Steve, who's going to tell us a little story about how he came across Terrance Popp.
So a couple nights ago, as you guys know, I generally go out and I try to find people to bring them on. And I happened to come across a hangout with these MGTOW people having a conversation. And I I jumped in the live chat, and they were nice enough to actually invite me in the hangout. And I asked them if any of them wanted to come on and talk about MGTOW, and they actually gave me a name. They said, "Well, we probably are not that interested, but maybe this guy that we know of called Terrance Popp might be interested." So I reached out to him and I asked him, "Hey, would you like to come on NonSequitur and have a discussion about MGTOW?" And he was definitely receptive of it, and he's here on that. So that's kind of the story how I got in touch with him. So let me introduce him real quick. Terrance Popp has a pretty decent sized channel. I think he has like 60 some odd thousand subs. 30 some odd year Army veteran, and he owns a domain called. Would you own the domain redonkulous.com?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so if you want to go check out his stuff, redonkulous.com, and we'll put that in the video description. But mainly from what I've seen from his videos, you generally dealing with feminism, MGTOW stuff, men's rights, and in a comedic type format, correct?
Yeah. And I do throw a lot of insults around, but it's neither here nor there.
Awesome. And on the other side, we brought in Emrazz here for you to have a conversation with. People might remember her. She's been in before having conversations. She's the feminist next door on Twitter. She talks about racism and male chauvinist and pretend lawyers, if I'm not correct. Is that the case, Emrazz? Right?
Yeah.
By the way, hi, welcome back.
Hi guys.
Hi.
Yeah, so my shtick is basically that I'm your favorite friendly feminist, and I try to talk about issues that affect women and intersectionality. So I do talk about racism, I talk about homophobia, xenophobia, and essentially any cultural issue that intersects with the subjugation of women. So I try to engage people in conversation. I occasionally throw an insult back, but I try not to instigate people. And I try to educate people who have questions about feminism or questions about what feminists think, and just kind of keep the dialogue rolling.
Are you familiar with MGTOW? I mean, you've dealt with them before?
I sure have.
Awesome. So this is going to be great. So kind of, why don't you start us off, Terrance, maybe explain MGTOW to people and why you're a MGTOW person and why you advocate for it, and maybe you can just kind of lead into a conversation with Emrazz organically.
Yeah, you could say I'm red-pilled, and I follow the MGTOW principle. I mean, I'm not, one of those MGTOW monks that just totally swears off women, and so, I mean, I'm not like that. But basically, if you're one of those guys who's been divorced and you say, "Hey, I'm never getting married again," you're there. That's you.
Is that the only criteria?
No, I mean, there's a lot of guys out there who, fall into the MGTOW mindset when they realize there's a lot of crap going on in the world, and it's basically, one-sided against men, and they're like, "Fuck it, I'm not playing," and they take their toys and they're leaving the field to let it.
So it's kind of a response. It's kind of a response.
Yeah, it's a response to it.
Okay.
I would say in a way, yeah, liberalism and feminism.
Let's ask Emrazz. What are your views on the MGTOW movement, Emrazz?
Well, as I understand it, MGTOW has kind of a couple of different sects, I guess you could call them, or levels of engagement. I think you mentioned one being MGTOW monk, would be people who have sworn off women altogether. I don't know exactly what the names of the various stages of MGTOW are, but the interactions that I've had have ranged from guys who just don't like women and don't want to be around them but still want to fuck them, or guys who really like just being entirely away from women 100%, and have sort of a visceral reaction to any requirement of having involvement with women. So I've interacted with them all on a limited basis. To me, it seems like the various stages of MGTOW have different goals. So there may be some men who really are going their own way, but I have not met any of them in MGTOW because they're talking to me. So that's where I'm at.
Terrance, how would you respond to that?
You're stating that men aren't MGTOW if they talk to you.
Well, I mean, the term is going your own way, right? So you're sort of in my way if you're talking to me, not yours, I guess.
Okay, so if they say hello to you on the street, then they're not MGTOW or anything like that.
I think it would be unlikely for me to know that someone was in MGTOW if they just said hello to me on the street. But we're talking about people who are engaging me on a significant level on Twitter, for example, who are replying back and forth constantly, numerous times, and even when I say, maybe time to go your own way, they still don't. So, in that case, to me, it seems a little antithetical. But I guess what I'm saying is, to me, the rebuttal to the characterization of MGTOW as a hateful group or a woman-hating group is that we're not that. We're just men trying to do our own thing. And if that's the case, go do it. That's really kind of where I stand.
Well, there are a lot that do that, and there's a lot of them that work at jobs and where they can just take care of themselves, don't feed into the tax base, and when enough of us men walk off the lot because we pay a lion's share of the taxes, there's going to be some problems.
What are your views
first
of?
Of all, that's just actually untrue. But the other thing is that that men pay the majority of the tax base. Like, that's just actually incorrect. But the reality is that you can exist in the world and have a perspective that you don't want to interact with women on a social basis and do so. And the fact that I have had numerous conversations with MGTOWs means that they are not doing that because they are having social interactions with me. They also usually detail their sexual exploits with women. So I don't know that I understand specifically what it means to go your own way if you're still trolling women on Twitter and still fucking them on the weekends. Which way are you
talking
going?
about are the pickup artists, because those are the guys who like to pick up a lot of women and bang them and stuff, and they are a level of red pill guys. I wouldn't say they're 100% MGTOW, but that's probably what you're referring to. Is that what you're saying?
No, I know what pickup artists are. I'm referring to MGTOWs. I mean, you said yourself, right, that you still sleep with women.
Let me ask you, Terrance, what are your views on feminists? How would you categorize? What are your thoughts on feminists?
I am not a fan of feminism at all. I think it's kind of a one-sided ideology, which is basically bent on domination, and has done a great job at it thus far.
Emrazz?
I guess I would ask, in what sense do you feel feminism is one-sided?
Well, I didn't really understand how one-sided it was until I went in divorce court and I lost my house. I was left over with like $600 a month to live on after child support. I lost my children. My ex-wife killed my dog, and I wind up living on the street. So that's pretty much one-sided right there.
Well, you're saying your ex-wife killed your dog because of the social movement for gender equality?
No, my ex-wife killed my dog because I filed for divorce first, and she knew that, she wasn't going to get the auto win unless I wrang her neck because she killed my dog, which I didn't do. that's a whole other story. But then when I got to court, I was labeled a murderer and an assassin because, I was a Green Beret and a Ranger, and I did all that high-speed stuff in the Army. And then when that didn't work,